So this is episode 4, and with that, the trajectory of building is changing a lot. Darren, who's on the call with us, is the co-host.
Yeah,
The
that
co-host,
sounds
yeah.
sounds cool.
A little bit about both of us. We work for the same company and we're both really into technology and AI. And for the last, I want to say year, we've been just bouncing ideas back and forth of what we want to do with AI and just pushing forward. And we've played around with the idea of creating a product and also just being able to share with everybody as we're building it. Update from AfriKnod. It was rejected from the Apple Store, which is it was bittersweet. It was fun to see that it made it to somebody and somebody was like, "Nope, that's not it." And the only reason why it was, I think one of the reasons, the first reason that they gave was that it's a business app. When submitting it to the Apple Store, it needs to be public facing that the public can access. And this is not it as of right now.
Yeah, it might be just as simple as resubmitting it as a business.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Okay. So then that being said, do you want to say the name of the app of what we're trying to build?
Yeah, we're building a fantasy football assistant coach app, and it's called Assistant Coach. I it's funny because uh, I, I'm not super fantasy football guy. But I've been doing fantasy football leagues for 20 years. And every time I draft, I'm always wishing I had a way to organize my thoughts about what the right strategy is based off of the people that are in my league who I know pretty well. Um, and as we've been playing around with AI, and I kind of was describing it with you yesterday, Manny, it's such an accelerator of learning and knowledge. And I had read this brief article about AI research, and that research word sort of made me think about what I research and when are times where I use research in a really consolidated, focused way. And so this just started coming to me. And so I spent this last week just thinking about it a ton and trying to create a thing. And it was working in Claude and created a very, very basic version of what many of these ideas are. And it looked pretty cool. And then I started thinking more. And so I put together a bunch of like some of the features that it would do that would make it different and better than what the other things that I know to be out there. And then I decided to stop trying to code or build anything and just focus as many different thoughts into finalized spec documents of what happens when you onboard, what happens when you draft a player, what happens was before that, what happens when you organize your team philosophy, what happens during a draft, what happens during the season, and how do we make this particular program or app or tool remember things specifically about you and your tendencies and your league and their tendencies and use that over and over again from one year to the next. And so it's just compounding its own knowledge of the way, somebody else tends to behave through the course of a football season. So my goal has been, all right, and also thinking that this is, it's March 28th. There's fantasy football starts in August is when people will draft. So we have to if it's going to be ready for this season for even anybody to use, we got a pretty short window of time to conceptualize, build, market it out, get it out to people, have people find out about it, see if it works, and then go through the season and see how it works and how we can make it better. And I'm trying to finalize what is it going to be for version 1 for this year? And can we build that in April? And then can we test it in May and then fix it in June? And then by July, really push marketing to try to get some people to know it and try it and use it. And that's where we are.
One thing I keep mentioning is that I want to, if it's possible, to get pre-sales before we even build it to kind of validate the product. Also, one thing I just
You
want to
mean
make sure that
validate the interest?
yes, validate the interest. Validate if people will pay what we say that it might cost. Um, and one thing and I've said it in the last few episodes is while we are professionals, I don't think we have any idea what we're doing. It's just kind of just watching YouTube videos, watching podcasts, reading books, and just trying to do it. I think that's the what one of the biggest things that will make us different from everybody else. Because you can build it so easy not to build. I think the hard thing is to execute. Even if it doesn't work, just execute to learn. But I think we have something that is going to be a big product because people do love football. It's the American's
For sure.
pastime.
There are plenty of people who pay for tools, and there's a lot of them. And the tools that are out there, I think, are really good at organizing statistical information and telling you who's the best player at any position or in any spot in a draft. And I don't think there's anything out there that's taking that knowledge, which is accessible to anybody, and also applying it to how your people behave and what's likely to happen in your particular draft season, all of it. You and I've talked about this a couple times this week. The architecture of that to make this app actually work is really important. I think you're right to one extent. It's not that we don't know what we're doing; it's that we're learning so fast, and there's going to be so many things that we don't do right the first time. And the premise, kind of, I think, of this is we're two just normal people who aren't big machines that create apps, which there are many of. Like, ESPN can do football apps with a team of people, right? And we're just two guys who are interested in AI and technology and automation and creating something. But we know what we're doing in terms of how to operate a business, and so we've got some reasonable skills, but
I agree.
we're doing things that are outside of our comfort zone for sure. And also, like, I mean, just in the last week, I built a landing page for this product so I bought a web page and created a web page. I've never done that before. It was pretty easy, and it wouldn't have been easy. It wouldn't have been something I thought I could ever do without this new access to these new tools. And so now we got to figure out how to use all the tools and see how we can apply them to an idea. And if that idea is good, then maybe it becomes a product that people use and we can, make money off of it. Worst case scenario, we learn a bunch of stuff and are going to get better and try to just go through that whole process of idea creation, ship it, right? Like get it out there and market it, and all those are completely different departments of the company, right? And so, how do two people create all that thoughtfully? And we'll see what happens. Worst case scenario, we learn a bunch of stuff and nobody cares. Best case scenario, we sell it to somebody for $1 trillion.
That's the goal.
Yeah,
So one of the things we'll get started here in a second. It's not just about you haven't said the name, right?
I think so. Assistant coach.
Assistant
I think
coach.
I
Okay,
said
it's
that.
not just about assistant coach. It's about just any other products that we're trying to build or any other tools we're trying to learn. And like Darren mentioned, we're just your average Joe. We're not in the tech world per se. So how are we using it to leverage? And that's what I want to segue that by starting. How do you start thinking about this? Because you already mentioned the broad idea of it. But I think the important part here is like, all right, how do you start from A and then go to B, and then obviously to the end till we publish it and it's being sold. Right now we're at 8.1 or 8.2. How'd you start? I guess that where'd you start with this idea?
And one thing that I just struggle with is keeping all these thoughts organized in one place. And what I'm doing right now, as you're talking, is trying to move the file spec sheets from my desktop, which was an easy place for me to get them, into Google Drive. And not that that's not a hard process, but I'm trying to make sure I have the most updated information in here so that we can decide together this week that it's final and reasonable and ready to start building. And and I had a couple ideas last night, which is a part of this process too. It's like we definitely need to do that, and we definitely need to do that, and we definitely need to do that. And like what things to what point? I'd like that point to be this weekend. Do I stop and just go, all right, this is what the idea is, and this is what's going to happen this year, and let it go? But one of the things is like, for example, the onboarding phase, as I've written it out here so far in the specs, like what happens first when you download the app or on your desktop or on your phone, and that's preparing for the season, preparing for the draft. Those are kind of the next steps. What if somebody downloads it after the draft? Like there has to be a way to go, we're already past this part. Upload your team or connect your team or connect your team. And I guess we're going to talk for a sec. I'll talk now about the connection piece of it. There's four big platforms, right? I mean, and there might be more, but there's four that are at the top of my mind that people do for fantasy, and it's ESPN, it's NFL, it's Yahoo, and Sleeper. Of those four, Sleeper has the most accessible APIs, so it's a pretty easy plug-in connection. And I think that is the first sort of primary target. It's like do the easy version of the app. The others are less easy. The APIs aren't entirely open and accessible. And though in my chats with both ChatGPT and I'll talk about how I'm using the three different LLMs right now. They say there's ways to do it, but I think it might be more complicated architecture on our part, and I don't know if we want to make that a focus. But this assistant coach needs to be able to see your league. It needs to know the draft recap, who drafted who in what position, right? So if there's 12 teams in your league and there's 16 different rounds of the draft, who drafted a quarterback in round 3, who drafted a running back, like what happened in the league, knowing that is the beginning of years of trend information. So if I came in after the draft, how do I will through the API will it just know what the draft does? It will just know to go look at the draft recap, which you can see at any time in the season. Probably not. We're going to have to force it to do that. And then the other way outside of Sleeper that I think our workaround for version 1 is installing a desktop app and a screen reading function so it can watch what's happening in real time and then take that information. Susie Q drafted this person in round 4, and it just files it as in real time. But again, if that person uses the desktop app and they download it after they've already done their draft, they probably need to show or export their draft recap so that information's there. Because the part of the thing that's going to make this cool is knowing what happened in your draft this year. And if you join afterwards, I don't have that anywhere into our spec sheet. So I was thinking about that last night, like, oh, I don't want to build that without that function. I had another thought last night that I thought was really important. I can't remember it right now. So, and I'm also like, I gotta focus here for a second on getting things in the right place. Are you able to
Okay.
see what I've put in there so far?
Uh, you said you just shared it with me?
Yeah, like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, it's within the, got it, got it. That makes a lot more sense. It's within the universe
Yeah,
folder.
yeah, I just did that for
Make it easy.
make it easy.
Yeah, I can see files in here.
Okay, so we should have the behavior and voice, and I'll get rid of the inside. So right now, inside the assistant coach, and let's help me validate that I've got all the things. There's assistant coach behavior and voice, and there's a folder inside there that says final versions, and those might be the exact same versions that I'm sending, but just in case I've created this final versions. So one of them is the 3 different coaches. A part of this is you're gonna log in. Part of onboarding is choosing your coach. And that's a little bit about the style and voice and the way that this coach talks to you. And then there's a couple of documents. In addition to that, one of them is the behavior and voice build document. So it talks through how the coach selection works, what they're able to do at the beginning, what they have to do later, early season transparency and language. So some language sampling.
So here's a question. I think this is the first time you've mentioned this part are you talking to this?
That's one of the thoughts I think also I've had. There are times where it's going to ask you questions. It's
Mhm.
not a chat bot. It's not just connecting an open chat about what should I do about this. So it's essentially designed to give you, hey, we've set our plan. If you're going to stick with your plan based off of what's happening, this is what you should do and this is what you should do. I wonder if it's a missed opportunity of having at least a spot in this where you can have a dialogue with your assistant coach. I wonder if that's a miss, and I think there might be some value in that.
I don't disagree. I do think for the MVP,
Yeah.
we need to just have the core functionality of it. And then once we start realizing that people want I think this is one of the cool things about having the YouTube channel and building the app at the same time is that if right now we only have 3 subscribers, which is you, my wife,
Yeah.
and then somebody else, if they want us to build it, we'll build it. And one thing that I really like about it, an app that I use is Microfactor, which is it's a calorie tracker,
Yeah,
but they have a feature called Roadmap, which is I don't know if you can see it.
I can't see
It
it.
might be too bright. Yeah. They might actually have it on their website. Yeah, so it's a public roadmap where you can see all of the features that are currently being thought about. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, let me make it bigger. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, sweet. So Microfactor is just a calorie tracker, but every so often people can come in here and request features. So if people vote on it, it goes up into the higher tiers so that your developer then knows like, oh, actually they really want this. Let's start working on it. Or we're not gonna do this. Or it's been already we've done it, it's out. Um, so having something like this too, where we talk about it, it's like, hey, this voice, having a chat with your coach, is that something that is something that you really want, or something that you might want, or something that you don't care about? That way we're not wasting the time building something that might be not even a lot of the users, majority of the users won't use.
Yeah.
But I just thought about this.
Yeah, that's cool. Sorry. I want to talk a little bit about how my process has been this week and where I'm struggling and where I'm at. And so, again, I started using Claude to do the beginning of this. That's sort of my project director, and that's sort of the project director. I'm running. Additionally, you was using ChatGPT as kind of a marketing director, partially because value in having a thought with one LLM and then another, and then sharing it with having a chat with ChatGPT, and then sharing a Claude and going, hey, what do you think about all this? And also, I'm on the $20 a month version, and I'm using up a lot of my usage in Claude, and so I have to also use some time thinking in another place. I kind of describe the LLMs as thought partners, and so that's valuable. And then I'm also using Gemini as kind of a red team, like, hey, poke holes in this. What seems like it would work? What seems like it won't work? What are the pitfalls? And I a little bit used anti-gravity, which is a part of Notebook LM, I understand, and to go, hey, here's the code for the very, very basic version. And what's really cool about that is like the way it's, because I don't know code, right? I don't understand what it all means. But anti-gravity is able to go, this part does this function, this section does this section does that. This is great. This section is doing this, but it's going to break if you don't fix this part about it and that part about it, which was just a really kind of cool feature and way to vet what one thing did using another thing. So but right now, Claude is my sort of where everything's living. And I was having a chat earlier with last night, and Claude was like, I think these are all your final versions. And so as you're getting ready to share with Manny tomorrow, so I'm actually trying to just copy and paste all of these final versions, and then you have this be our sort of baseline to start from. Because even what you're probably seeing right now in the Google Drive is like 8 folders. Some have one file and then some have 3 files in it. It might be a little confusing and sort of line up our thinking in a linear way. So now I'm going to try to just copy and paste what Claude said. Hey, give all this stuff to Manny and make sure you're getting the right final versions. I'm going to start a new folder in here and call it its final versions and see if I can paste all of these documents in. And it might be, I imagine have you got a project set up in Claude for this or anything for this for assistant coach yet?
No, not a project within Claude yet.
Might be good to do that and say, upload all these things. And that's one thing that's tough for both of us is that like you can't see all of my discussions and not that that would be useful either, but I want to have the most access and visibility into the things that are important. And so let's see if I just kind of as here are your 2, 4, 6, 8, 9.
9
I can
folders, 9 files.
9 files.
Also, another thing that comes to my mind is that right now it's web-based, correct? It's a URL link that takes you to a page. The goal is to make it into a app, but also be able to go into your main dashboard on your computer so that you can have a bigger command center. Am I understanding that correctly?
I think so. What
Where
is the
it's like,
alternative to it being web-based? That it's based locally on your computer?
no. So just like how a product or how an app is developed for an iOS or for a phone is completely different from how it's developed for a a web based. So a URL that you type in assistantcoach.com. You don't have to do that with an app. You just click the app and it's taking you to the same data. It's all the same data, just how it looks. You're using your finger for to operate your phone compared to using your mouse and your keyboard to operate a website. Just two different ways of design, I guess.
Okay, I'm not sure I'm clearly understanding what the question, I suppose, is, or what what the important decisions
Yes.
are.
Are we developing this first for a app or for a website?
Uh, let's see what Claude thinks about that, actually. Because I'm not sure what the right decision, if it's a critical decision to make right now, I want to make the right one. He's thinking, based on everything we built so far, the answer is both, but sequenced. So year one, web app. And this is what we built first. Works on mobile browser and desktop browsers. No app store approval process, no submission delays. It ships fast. Business plan already has this locked. React, Vercel, Supabase, Stripe, Sleeper API. The JSX demo you should already have in the files is already React. I'm not sure what React is.
It's a programming language.
So the prototype is literally the starting point for the web app. Why not native mobile app? The App Store approval takes weeks and can be rejected. August draft windows the entire acquisition opportunity, so we don't want to risk the delay. Year two. So year one, the answer is web app. Year two, native iOS and Android app. Once we have revenue, users, and proof of concept. The honest answer from Mancy is web app for first, React, deploy on Vercel. That's the build. Everything in the spec and business plan assumes this. The prototype you have already is the right technology. Don't let that question slow you down. So there's the answer. This means web app first, and then iOS, Android app year two.
Do you want to show the web app right now or wait until it's a little bit more done?
You mean that the one that I shared with you?
Do you have a new one?
No, I haven't touched it since whatever day that was. I think maybe Tuesday night, and I'm not sure the best way for me to show that. Can I send you a URL?
You can. Are you is because we're using Riverside as our studio capture or how we capturing video right now. Is it open as a web page or did not have you download anything, right?
It did not have me download anything.
It just opened the camera for you?
A camera?
Yeah. Like did it is are you on the website right now?
I'm not on the website right now.
Huh,
I'm so sorry. I'm
interesting.
also reading at the. We built it and ran it as an artifact, so it's actually. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not in this session, which is before I created a project in.
So that's one thing, and that's great that this is coming up now because that's one of the things about LLMs. And you have all of these conversations going on and different things. And the more conversations you have, or each time you open a chat, it kind of forgets.
Yeah,
So you have a finished product or a good foundation of what the product's going to look like. So my mind is going into how do we get this now start to develop it, and this goes back to GitHub. It's like, okay, how do we put the code into a place where we know that we can control what it looked like yesterday? If anything, if we make any changes today and we mess it up, it's still working. Once we make it live and people are using it, we're not adding new features, having them wait for us to be done with the features before they can go back in. They can continue to use it. So that's where my head goes to, and that's how I designed Napkin Note. Was all right. We're building this like any other company would. We have the advantage that we can use AI to go faster, but the mentality and the architect should always be the same. Where it's like this is a product that needs to live in a place that we can scale from one person using it to a million people using it. And at the same time, if we're making any changes, we're not affecting the user experience. And then at the same time, making sure that everything, all the APIs are connected to one source so that we can have, in my mind, not every person that logs in is creating a new API key to get connected. It's just we just pay for one. Everybody's pulling from that one unless we really bug it. Like we bugged it down, but I don't think we'll ever get there. So start thinking of the architect of like, okay, this is the feature. This is what needs to happen. How do we get the back end to work? And how do we make it so that any conversation we could, because you're using the Claude. Are you using Claude Code or are you just using Claude?
I've just used Claude so far for this project, but I think it would
Okay,
be Claude Code when it comes time to do the real build.
got it. And so then my mind goes to also like, okay, right now we have all these files that are scattered of different things. We need one big markdown file of
Yeah.
what this app is, what is going down, so that anytime we open a new product, it's like, okay, these yesterday, the markdown file said this, we're starting there. So read through it. And then as we make any adjustments, make sure it goes back to the markdown file so we know where we're at for the following day's session.
Right, because you don't want to be right now. There's 9 or 10 Word documents that are describing what this thing does and what the different areas of it do, and that is confusing for me already. And that's just because in each night this week, I've been like, all right, let's think about this section. Like, what should this do? How should this go? And then like have a 2 or 3 hours of dialogue, and then like, all right, just save this last version and we'll put it in here. And so now we got to take that to start to build a roadmap, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And so you, as the architect, might want to be the one who does that so that it's form, you know what I mean? It's in your thought process kind of so it lines up with what you want it to look like at the end. Because I'm not sure what the vision the right way for that to look would be for even me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was just
I
going to ask you, I was
know.
going to interrupt. Is that
Yeah.
inside the drive, there's the fantasycoach.jsx, which I wonder if you can click that and somehow make, oh, there's no preview available when I click it. I wonder if downloading, I can even download it.
One thing, and we've talked about this a few times, the JXS, no preview available.
Can you download it?
Is this the page that you sent me?
Yeah. It's the,
Is that what you Okay. I
when
can
I
open it.
download it, I'm looking at the code for the page. And this is again, this was day one. Like, what would this look like if we built it kind of level? So,
One thing that we've talked about is properly using GitHub. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I know it took me forever to understand. And I'm not a programmer at all either, but I've been programming probably for like 15 years on and off.
mhm,
So I have a better understanding of what it is, how to use it. And that's a proper way to say it, of how to use it. And one thing, so that you know, when we start talking about this, because I think that's where my head's going to go to next, is GitHub is where we house all the code. The markdown file will also be there.
yeah, okay.
So what I'm going to help you do is connect your Claude to that GitHub account so that as you're having your conversations, you can let it know it's like, hey, I like this, push this into my markdown file for a
That's
new update.
great.
And then you can, once you start a new session, you can like, hey, refer back to this GitHub URL, read the markdown file. This is where we're at. And we're going to continue this conversation. And then you continue your conversation on your Claude chat. And then once you're ready, once again, then you're like, okay, this is great. Push it to GitHub as a new addition. And then we can see the historical. It's like, oh, Darren pushed or merged a new update to the markdown file. So we got to make sure that we are doing that. That markdown file is going to be the Bible of everything that we're doing.
That's great.
And then at the same time, it's like every time we do a push, if the markdown file, if there's something new that we don't have, we have to figure out a way how to make that into a task so we're not losing. Like you might have an amazing session tonight, and then
Yeah,
tomorrow when we're looking at it, we completely forget about it and like, oh
right.
wait, that needs to be a task. That needs to be something that somebody needs to take action on. So I'll help you get you set up with that, but it's that is a very important part and reason why GitHub is such a big thing in programming world is that you push code to GitHub, you pull the last code that was updated, then you can continue doing that back and forth. And then once you're ready to make your main code with your new additions be the same, you merge the code back into your main Yeah.
Is GitHub the space, or is Supabase? Is there a decision to be made between one or the other, or do the two work together?
You need
I'm
both.
not reading both. Okay,
Yes.
that's I've kind of thought that. And just context on me, like you get 15 years of computer programming coding sort of as a hobbyist. I have 2 weeks of that, so I don't know that I could articulate the difference. I think 2 weeks ago I thought those were just different brands of the same thing. And then having used a little bit of GitHub for, because you and I have created some things lately, which has been fun for me. It's the first time I've ever done anything. And like just had an idea and made it be a thing I could see and talk to. And that's been crazy. And so, anyways, in my Claude chats with Claude, it's been referenced like this would be a thing that goes into GitHub and this would be a thing that goes into Supabase. And then I got confused, like, wait a second, does that mean, are we talking about different things now? So again, I'm glad you understand it better than I do at that level.
Just very high level because like I said, I think this channel, this is what that's for. It's like uh, to explain, like let's say I had my shoes 15 years back. I want to have a channel like this and that explain it, like, oh, they were building that and that's how they used it.
Yeah.
GitHub just houses the code. The code could be Team A, Team A, Team B, Team C. Now each user has Team A, Team B, Team C, so it's different for every user. So when in the code, it's like, hey, for user one, Team A is this, Team B is this. Supabase or SQL or all of these other different things that house your data now go into it. It's like, okay, team user A, which is Darren, because we pull it from Supabase, has the team Dolphins and the Seahawks, which is team A and team B. And then, but at the same time, Manny, user two, Manny Barajas, or just Manny, has the Cardinals as team A and team B. So the code stays the same. The code never changes. It'll always be user, team A, team B, team C. The code, the dedicated information, the storage of it is in Supabase, or there is more companies that do
Yeah.
that, and that's where the real code lives to. The real information, the real data lives. The code is very important because you can change it. You can change it. It's like, oh, you can only have 3 teams. Now you can have 10 teams. So now it's like, okay, now I have 10 teams to code. So now I need 10 buckets in Supabase with the same teams, but each user is going to be completely different. So we want to make sure we house that correctly somewhere.
I kind of get what you just described. That makes me also wonder too, is like, and I haven't thought deeply about this in the week. How does a user of this product who has multiple fantasy leagues use it in more than one, use it in both leagues and have it different, understand differently what this league is and how it's behaving and operating and learning that and then learning this and how did that user move between league A, B, C, and D. And I think what you just described might be the way that we would unlock that.
Hmm.
But also, it's nowhere described in any of the design architect documents that I've so far put together. So, and if that is a thing that should be available for version one or not, I don't know.
I think so. It's going to be very easy what you just explained. It's just how you set up your buckets. Do you like sitcoms?
Yeah.
Sitcoms? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a TV show called Silicon Valley.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty funny and it explains a lot of this stuff in a TV format. So highly recommend you watch it.
Okay, cool. I'll look
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a quick break and go make a new
All right.
coffee. And I might be able to still hear you, but it might be too far away from my Bluetooth. So I'm not going to use the right word that you just used to describe the thing that we need to generate, which is the kind of roadmap,
The markdown file.
the markdown file. So getting from what we have to a markdown file is an objective like today, this weekend.
Yeah. So we can set it up right. How much time do you have?
I mean, my kids are still sleeping, so until they wake up, then I need to
All
start
right.
doing dad stuff.
Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. And I can share my screen.
And if we're missing a piece of it, we can add it in tomorrow or later this week.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen so you can see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because I'm also going to show you what you need to do on your end. I'm just gonna put it under my GitHub. Did you create a GitHub account?
I have a GitHub account.
Okay.
And you know what? Here's another thing just to talk about. My cat's getting in the way right now, but so the I was thinking last night, and it might be a waste of time, but it might be a fun thing. So last week or the week before, I created that signal board for you and I,
Mhm.
which and just a quick, the premise of that was, you know, like you were talking about how you learn new information about what's out and changing in AI. And I don't use Twitter or Instagram, and I don't spend a ton of time on YouTube. And so I wanted to know the things that you were learning about too. So I created this signal board, and it just is it goes to 6 or 7 different RSS feeds, right? The Anthropic blog and the OpenAI blog and the Google blog and a few others that it recommended. It has something from MIT and some Tech Insider review. Anyways, to grab information about what's new and changing and who's buying what, who's investing in what, who's building what. And then also a function of it was creating a daily challenge for me to like, here's a 30 to 90 minute build this idea. And that's kind of what triggered this thought I had this week anyways. I wonder if I thought about doing that for this project specifically. Is like, should we create a daily 30 to 60, 30, 60, 90, build this part of it or not? I don't know. But anyways, that I was having that thought just a moment ago. That might be a fun way
Um,
because I've got it designed to be like build for we've 6 or 8 different things we've talked about trying to make. And so right now it's designed to give me a daily challenge for things that I'm not focused on right now.
yeah, and I think so. I think it would be very helpful. I think I'm gonna go way faster than what it's gonna
I'm
be.
sure. I gotta let my dog out. It also it was broken. So like it wasn't updating the feeds. I might have fixed both of ours, but it was the same articles for the last 6 days or something like that.
Username did you use for your GitHub?
You check. It looks like it's just my name with a hyphen. Is there a reason we might not want to put that on YouTube?
Can you see? Can you see what I'm doing?
No, I just
I'm
see
not sure.
us.
Okay, I'm not sharing.
No, I know. I didn't say my last name, but wouldn't be hard to figure it out. But it's like we want to probably
No,
share our GitHub usernames.
no, no. It's public information.
Yeah. Okay.
Getting into the code, it's a private repository, which is just a fancy word of say where we keep our code. The things that we don't want to share ever are our
Hmm.
API keys and yeah, and then everything else they can if you really want to find it out, you can.
Yeah.
It's just your name. You said
Yeah. Darren hyphen Nicholas.
there's quite a few.
Really? I think
Yeah.
that's what it is. Is there anything else I can do to make it more easily identifiable? So like there are
Uh,
other people the same name of their username.
add it. Yes,
Okay.
add a picture to it. Just add something that identifies it a little bit different.
Okay. Profile. Here's profile. Okay. Let's see. Change your avatar. Edit profile.
I can also. I think I might be able to just send you the link.
That might be faster than me trying to figure out how to use this.
Or go in, you're in GitHub right now, correct?
I am.
And then where it says type search,
Type search.
look up for Manny Barajas altogether.
Yeah, I see you. Follow. I'm following you.
Follow, and then does it show you my repositories?
It shows popular repositories.
And then you should see assistant coach under private.
It just shows 2 repositories.
Oh, so it's only the public ones. Is it Avia Brief and
Yeah.
Fun Test iOS?
Yep, those are the ones.
Okay. So actually, this if you just followed me, I should be able to see who follows me. So I'm gonna follow you back. Now I know you're
I've
actually.
got 1 follower. Hey, it's you.
And then let me go back to the repository, add you to it. Okay, so you should be getting an invitation to join.
The invitation would come to me in an email or in GitHub somewhere.
Email or GitHub, you might see it on your notifications on the top right.
Notifications. Oh, here it comes. Yeah, okay. Invited to join. Accept invitation. I gotta let my dog back in.
So now you have access to that. And that's just a blank. There's nothing in there right now. So what I'm gonna do is do the first. We're doing what was it built off of? What program was it using?
I'm not sure. I know what would an answer to that question be?
Node.js, Python, iOS.
Let's find out. You mean the JSX file that is in there?
No. So it should be like a specific code, a specific language.
React? JavaScript,
React.
JSX.
Yes, that's it. That
Yeah.
was there. Sweet. So now we're connected. Let me show you what I did. I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay, 1 second. I'm putting one more file
Yeah,
in. I'm putting a marketing file in the Google Drive because I created a brand standards guideline, and then everything that I put on the whole web page, the landing page. Oh, you got the web page up.
I did. I just went. I'm on a Mac, so I can just pull my messages and
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. Okay, so you're using are you using the app? Or are you using
Yeah, for what?
or the web like on for Claude? Sorry, that wasn't a
I'm
finished thought.
I'm doing most of my work on the web version from my
Okay,
laptop, but I also use the app from my
okay, got it. So from your project, this is the one that I just made,
phone.
and I'll change the name here in a second. When you go in, you'll just click on this little plus sign, and
Mm-hmm.
then add from GitHub.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yep.
So you'll click on that,
Yep.
and then it should be connected to your repository. If not, you should see all of your projects. You should see assistant coach.
Add from GitHub. I Manny Barojas. There it is. README.md.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. You just want to connect the project to it. All the other stuff you can add the files to your. So like let's say tomorrow you're starting a new chat.
Yeah.
Then you'll hit. You'll see a markdown file, which is that's MD
Okay.
at the end of README. That's a
Yep.
markdown file. So we'll have all of the information living there. That's a roadmap for everything of what the design's going to look like. What are the colors that we're going to be using? What is the page one supposed to be doing?
Okay.
Everything.
And
So just
right now, if I've got much of that in Word document form and I want to put that in there, how do I do that?
so if you have it in your drive,
Yep.
just click on this and then add from Google Drive, and just add as many as it lets you in one go. I'll actually, before you do anything, say don't do anything to Claude. I'm going to give you all these files. I want you to compile them all into a markdown file for the foundation of this project, and it'll give it to you. So there's only one step. That way, any conversations you have with it is any conversations you have the context of everything that's going on,
Yep.
and that's why you start every morning with pulling that file from here into this chat. Now, anything that is being updated, this is a terminal, and you see how it says AI coach and then this git main. That means that this is currently being connected to the main code in GitHub. So any new code, anything that's new, will be its own branch. And when I mean its own branch, right here, the main part will
Mm-hmm.
say something different. Like, let's say we call the next phase two. So say AI coach get phase two. This is all the code that's currently being used to. Now, have you ran Cloud Code from your terminal?
No.
All right.
Actually, I think I did when I first got it, and I don't think I can right now.
Okay. So you could just use it from in here,
Yep.
from the, actually, you should probably just use it from here. And then same thing, you'll select the repository, you select your coach. Now you're connected. The same thing, but this is more fancy. This is more nicely looking. You
Oh,
know you're currently
cheers.
working on your main one. And then here you just tell it, add a new file, that's readme part two. That we should never have that, but this is just as an example. It's connected to your assistant coach. This should be a .md file. MD just stands for file, markdown file, and have it say delete later. You have it run. It's connected to your branch already, so it can push to GitHub, and I'll show you here in a second. While that's doing that, I'm gonna open GitHub, and then I'm gonna open that repository. What's that here?
That's really cool what I'm seeing you do right now. You want to know what I've been doing? Having a dialogue with Claude and saying, and it'll be like, here's your new code. And I'd be like, copy it and paste it over the new, and I'd go into GitHub. And if I want to create a new file, I'd be like, here's how you create a file in GitHub. So I'd have to read that. And then I go, oh, okay, I'll go over here, add file, add this type of file, copy this, edit this. And like, it's been time consuming. My kiddo's here. You can't hear you probably, but it's time to, are
Morning.
you up? And Manny said, good morning. She said, hello.
Okay, sweet. So now you can see that it has been committed and it has been pushed. You can't see my fingers.
Yeah. I
You
can
can
see what
see,
you're talking about.
yeah. And now if we go to GitHub, you're gonna see that if we refresh this, let's back
We'll be done soon.
to there it is. So Claude Code added README part 2. This is our housing of all our code.
Uh-huh.
So if you click on it, you're gonna see README part 2, delete later. And then this is how we keep version control. So it's like, okay, now I know if I go back to my history at this day, this happened. We can go back from that. But you're doing it all from in here, from in here,
Yeah.
from your Claude code inside of Claude. So once you, so here's an example. Let's say you have a conversation. I'm thinking about adding a voice feature to this. Is there any code that can let me do that right now, or do I have to build that? There's no code in there because there's nothing in there yet. So once you get all the answers,
Yeah.
then you're like, okay, perfect. Let me go to Cloud Code on the left side, and then you paste the code that I gave you here, and then
Yeah.
it pushes everything.
That's awesome. Do I, how on this call have I frozen up or at all for you? It has for me. I recently changed my internet provider. I think I'm gonna have to go back. I've had a few times where it's frozen.
Who's your internet provider?
Now, T-Mobile,
T-Mobile.
5G.
We use Zipley.
Do you?
Yeah, everybody else uses something different around where we live at, but Zipley has been it's fiber, so it's as long as nobody cuts the fiber cord, you're good. Yeah.
Okay, so I need to. Well, you've got all the documents that I put in there so far. So do you want to put them into
The
that sort of
markdown file.
markdown? Yeah.
Yeah, I get to that.
And will it be intuitive as to like does the order of does the sequence of it matter? Like,
No, it'll do one sweep read of everything, and it'll
yeah,
be like seconds, and then it'll have a full context of what we're currently building. Um, so pretty much all you're going to be doing, unless you want to do more, is you'll just go to the plus sign, add from GitHub, and then you just click on the markdown file, add it, and then start your chat.
um, every time I want to talk about the project, I'm going to put the markdown file in there.
Correct.
Okay, great. Okay, so that should be the first step in my because I'm trying to, for the most part, unless it's like a one-off thing, but keep everything, all the chats within the project. So I'll start a new chat within the project with the markdown file. If I want to make any changes to the markdown file.
Yeah, correct. It's also for the context of it, so it's not having to
Got it. Yeah,
you don't have to explain it all over again of what you're trying to do. It's already in the markdown file.
got it.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, so it's a shortcut for it understanding what it needs to know, what the context it needs to know. Because it doesn't need to know everything we've talked about in the project,
yeah,
just the
correct.
stuff that's made it to the final version.
Yes, and also like let's say tonight, let's say we have we're starting to build it. That the markdown file only tells you what the code is. It's not the code.
Yeah,
Um, so let's say tomorrow or just tonight, write a we write a piece of code. Then tomorrow, when you're having that conversation, you can be like, "Oh, that it already has the voice built in
yeah,
code into it." So let's dig into that. Should it be? Can you have multiple voices? Can it be just one voice?
yeah.
Yeah. So that's why the reason why you're always downloading the Markdown file because tonight I might do something completely new or something a new task could be completed, so that tomorrow it's like, oh, that task is done. We don't have to worry about that anymore.
All right, well, I think I know what to do next today. I think I have to check into dad mode here for a while. Do you want to just, what are you going to do?
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna upload all of your documents into
Okay.
this project,
Yep.
have it create one big markdown file of
Yep.
where your thoughts are at right now. And then from there, I'm gonna start it. The code should be in here, right? The code for this.
The JSX?
Yes.
It's in there.
Okay, sweet. So then with that code, then put that code into GitHub too, so that we always have version control of that too. And then start working on the marketing part of it. Not the marketing plan, but like the marketing
Engine.
engine. Yes.
Yeah, I think that using that multi-agent pipeline, and also I was having this thought in this chat with Claude in bed last night. I told you yesterday, I was using ChatGPT as sort of the marketing brain.
Hmm.
And again, I started that mainly because I needed to have another rich conversation, and I wanted to save my usage for the week in Claude. I'm not loving the output that I'm getting from ChatGPT, which is a little bit more like consultative. It's more of
Hmm.
it's like telling me a lot of stuff. And I was sharing that with Claude last night. I was like, what I want to do is describe this thing and have you more like vibe coding, where I tell you what I want and you show me what that would look like. And ChatGPT wasn't getting me that in a way that I wanted it. And so I might want to move marketing back into kind of Claude. But I did create a sort of brand standards guideline, like what's the voice, what should it sound like, what should it never sound like, and I do have some ideas for ads that would be, I think, for the most part, ads would be social media driven, right? We would generate things that are I don't think meme is the right word, but more instead of videos or reels, more like image that says, "Here's your fantasy challenge." Another set of words where it's a screen with words on it, and they change. And
Hmm.
so, can we create an agent that creates that piece for just the creation of the ads? And I think we can. And also, we could use 11 Labs if we needed to, like, to create music over it and like or behind it, or we could use. I think Claude or Gemini might do the same thing. And yeah. And then what's the marketing sort of like a do we have one agent that's like post on TikTok or post on Instagram or post on, like, so that sort of skeleton or architecture of it, work on that. And I'll be working on what the things should say, like what, you know what I mean?
Yeah. More of the creative side,
Yeah.
more of the technical side. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because you say that. I have right above me, I have like my little dashboard, and you can see my agents working right now. They're getting me my workout for the day
That's awesome.
based off of my sleep because it's connected to my Whoop account now. So based off my sleep and my recovery, it's coming up with its workout plan for today.
That's so cool. All right. Well, it's pretty good kind of kickoff call, right?
I agree. I agree. I'm
This is
excited because this is just the start.
it's fun to like, all right, be, again, for the sake of bringing YouTube, all the massive amounts of YouTube viewers up to speed. We've had so many different, we've been doing this call every Saturday for a couple months, and we talk about this plan or this plan or this idea and this idea. And now it's like, all right, let's start this idea. And that's what it's going to be about for the next 6 months or however long it takes. And let's see what happens when we stay focused on one thing. So
Yes.
it's going to be crazy.
Yes, it
I
is.
learned a lot already today.
Good.
I didn't know what a
Same.
markdown file was. Now I do.
Good. Yeah, fun. Well, thank you, Darren.
You got it. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Have a good weekend.
Have a great day.